Alright. It's still there. Dang it. Alright. Alright. So, like I said I'd do before, I'm gonna do a bit of practice with voice acting. This one is The Great Dictator speech. A famous scene by Charlie Chaplin, I believe. Yeah, Charlie Chaplin. Okay. I'm not great with names, especially of actors. Anyway, I've heard this one before a lot, and it's actually one I'm quite fond of. It's tossed in motivational stuff every so often. The Great Dictator speech. I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help people, if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate, despise one another. In this world there is room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost. The airplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourself to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate. Only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery. Fight for liberty. In the 17th chapel of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men. And you, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then, in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now, let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite. I had a cough driving up on the left, like 3 paragraphs there. Yeah. Anyway, hello. Sorry I didn't greet you earlier, but I was giving this a shot. It felt very flat, if I'm going to be honest. Not bad, but kind of flat. But that is kind of the reason we practice, to get better at things. Anyway, I'm clicking the wrong button there. I want to do that. Okay. Yeah, Umineko. Viva la démocratie! That's French. Chaplin was making fun of Hitler at the time. Hello. So, let's jump right back into Umineko. Where did we leave off? Yeah. This doesn't hurt. I'm not bad, but it's just right there. And doesn't want to go away. Alright, so we had, if I gotta reposition all this stuff. There we are. Yeah, we were learning the story of Angie, who is 12 years into the future when Eva is alive and well and crazy and dying. She's not well, she's in bed, paranoid off her gourd, and about money still for some reason. Well, to be fair, she did just sacrifice the entirety of her family for it, so I guess she's clinging on to it with a sense of regret, kind of. Anyway, we're talking with Burncastle about an offer for revenge and a chance to get her family back. And then we heard a clunk. At that time, I heard a clunk. It was the sound of the door that opened to the staircase to the roof. It was Antiva's guards. They're only guards in name. Aren't they the cage that wraps the tightest around me, shutting me in? They saw that I was already on the other side of the fence and dashed forward, horrified. 20. We found the target. Requesting backup on the roof. Angie-san, we were looking for you. It's dangerous there. Oh, quickly, come this way. What's that? My fan club. Oh yeah, she's pretty apathetic about life. I'm pretty popular. No point in getting caught. Let's go. Looking annoyed, Burncastle turned on her heels. In the jet black sky, watching that perfectly casual gesture, I followed her as though it was completely normal. Angie-san, wait! Don't be hasty. Look out! It's useless. It's all useless. Well then, see you again. Next time. Oh, maybe I should go. Jamata. Please, send a limo to get me. Because everyone else will be there too. See ya. Angie-san! Interesting shot. But they're kind of on a skyscraper. I was that close to the end. Really? Oh, come on. I guess that was my bad. You could have told me. I would have... I would have finished it. I don't know. I can't tell what's going on, but... when things are gonna end, so I have to guess. Really? God. You did that to me on purpose, just so I would suffer, wouldn't you? Apparently she did. Please tell me that's not just the end of the game. Okay. Addition of a new game board. The next episode's lock has been removed. Addition of new features. You can find these features on the title. The title screen. Yeah. Or she didn't survive. That would be all the other ones. If we go with this line of thought, that's the only route that survives. Unless you take witch magic into account. Hello, hello, Robert Cruz. Welcome, welcome. YouTube comments, cool. Welcome. Alright, episode 3 Tea Party. Episode 3 there. Episode 3 Tips. Okay, that's where it is. Let's go. Episode 4, Alliance of the Golden Witch. And yeah, if you take witch play into consideration, then it's alternate branch timeline theory, which technically scientific and humans and tricks. But Alliance of the Golden Witch. Good morning. How shocking that you haven't forced into surrender, even now. By this point, even I am forced to expect a lot from you. Not all of the game takes place on the board. How about taking a little peek at the outside this time around? They say that if you know your enemy, you need not fight 100 battles. The difficulty level depends on you. The manner in which you fought up until now will greatly influence the difficulty of this game. Okay. Oh, we'll see where we go. This story is very, very obviously fictional and fantastic in nature. Any resemblance to existing individuals or locations or events is completely coincidental. Witches don't exist, or do they? Fourth episode is your favorite, huh? Interesting. The First Day, October 4th, 1986. You alright, Battler-kun? We're already on the ground, and you can't fall any further than that. Damn it. Fall! In the lobby of the Najima airport, Maria dashed around in excitement. Battler's uproar on the plane must have been hilarious. Excuse me. Sorry. I really got something in my eye right now. I'm not crying, honest. Hey, Maria. Cut that out. I'm sorry, Battler-kun. Please, don't take it badly. What a pathetic guy you are. Even with that huge body, you still can't handle vehicles? Shut up, you bastard. All humans have one or two things they can't handle. Battler-kun, why don't you come with your aunt on an overseas trip sometime soon? How about Europe? Oh, not bad. I'm sure you could manage a half-day trip on a plane. Yeah, those kind of suck. Stop it, mother. Battler-kun's dislike for vehicles is probably genetic. Oh, you mean Asuma-san? For some reason, she just couldn't handle vehicles. Pretty much anything other than a bicycle or a car. Whenever we tried to go far away, that one was so annoying with the, not this, not that. I'm scared, fall, yeah. Children tend to learn that things their parents can't handle are dangerous. I'm sure Battler-kun saw Asuma-san doing something like that and learned that vehicles are scary. So it's a Sumu-san's jeans then, is it? Who knows? Those would be some pretty annoying jeans. Let's not talking about Asumu. Right now, you're the one who's here. Right? You're right. Sorry. Oi! The cars are here. Exactly 3 of them. Get in, get in. Fall, fall! Where's the parachute? Where's the parachute? Oh, oh. God, I can't laugh. God, I'm gonna love it when this cough is gone. Why, you little... Hold on. Stop right there. I'll sentence you to little girl tickle punishment. I can't laugh. God. Sucks. Being in high spirits is such a wonderful thing. Without Battler-kun and Maria-chan, the atmosphere in that plane would have been pretty grim. Thanks. I'll assume you mean that literally. Hey, brats. The taxis are here. You can play around later. Ooh, ooh. Taxi, taxi. I'm getting in first. Hey, Maria, and you too, Battler-kun. Stop fooling around. You'll bump into someone. The tone of Aunt Rosa's voice grew a little frightening. When even Battler realized they were fooling around a bit too much, just as expected, he bumped into someone. Any bets on who it is? Nameless NPC or somebody we know? Oh, sorry. Battler-kun, you guys are going in the car. You're keeping them waiting. After George urged to hurry on, Battler apologized to the person he had bumped into, ran up to his parents, who were telling him to come quickly. Apparently it's nobody. With a clunking sound, the doors in the 3 taxis were shut, one after another, and they departed for the harbor. Or not. As their taxis dashed away, the entire world grew suddenly dull, and slowed to a halt. Hey, sirs. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Witches? Welcome, welcome. Voices, the wind, and even sound. All of it stopped, and all the people who were trying to move froze like the instant someone takes a photo, coming to a halt. People and machines and clock hands, even the dust dancing in the wind, were frozen. Some people who were walking froze with one leg still in the air. Scraps of paper dancing in the wind were pinned in midair, frozen in place. This episode is about Maria. Kind of like the first one? Then, among the shadows standing still in this unmoving world, a single one stirred. It was a girl. The girl Battler had just bumped into. Though she had moved, it was a truly subtle thing. Oh, yeah. Her gaze dropped, her shoulders lowered a minuscule amount, and she sighed. That was all. In a normal world, that probably wouldn't even be taken as movement. But in this still world, it looked very out of place. Then, something else moved. There was a black cat wandering around the shadows near the taxi rank. It came up right behind the girl, and leisurely changed its form into that of a human. Hello, Burncastle? This was no cat. It was a witch. Of course, the girl was also a witch. As the witch stood still, her gaze still downwards, she muttered, I can't stop everyone from going to Rokkenjima, can I? You cannot. On October 4th, 1986, you are not here. If I were, would stopping everyone really have been possible? Well, I can't imagine what a 6-year-old girl could do to make them turn back. Still, that's right. If you were in this place, the probability wouldn't have been 0. Whenever there's a probability greater than 0, I can seek out a miracle. If I hadn't been sick, and they hadn't left me behind. With her head facing downwards, the witch tightened her fists. They were trembling very slightly. You were sick in bed starting October 3rd, 1986, and Beto's game board is sealed off starting October 4th. Mostly. You were not given a chance to avoid getting sick. In other words, it would normally be absolutely impossible for you to enter her game board. My voice is back, but I still got a cough. I'm not sick, but it's just there. Thanks for being patronizing. I know that. I know that just saying father, mother, and Onicha unhealthy like this, even that alone, is a spectacular miracle. Angie had tried to stand in the way of her family, attempting to stop them from leaving the airport and heading towards Rokkenjima. However, it was impossible for her to exist on October 4th, 1986, so she couldn't do it. Even though her brother had only bumped into her and apologized, even though he hadn't realized she was his own little sister, it had been such a miracle that she could cry. Oh. Sorry about the sarcasm. I won't waste the miracle you've given me. Time travel. I actually have a soft spot for time travel, though it tends to be done poorly in general. I'm curious to see what they do here. Back to Future being the worst one to do it. They do time travel. They do a wonderful story. Horrible time travel laws. I'm glad to hear it. Come, let us go with them to Rokkenjima. All of the pieces are already gathered. The curtain will open on the 4th game. By this time, Beato and Balor will already be seated. To Rokkenjima. To where everyone's fates changed. The Rokkenjima of October 4th, 1986. What happened on that day? I'll expose it. I'll learn what it is, and I'll bring them back. As she stood there with her fist still clenched, she surely turned her face up to the heavens. A single teardrop from the depths of her eyes dripped down into the air. And when time started moving again, the two witches' figures were swallowed up by a blowing gale and erased in an instant. Now, would this be... Oh, and Kyomada. Yeah, I've actually read Steins Gate. We did a playthrough of that, before you joined in. That's one of my favorite ones. We actually didn't do the true route. I screwed up an early save file and didn't notice until much later. But yeah, they came out with, like, apparently Steins Gate 0 2 or so. I haven't played any of that. I probably should, shouldn't I? Weeks to get through, yeah. However, to be fair, we only were doing that like once a week, so it was probably a bit shorter than this one. Can you imagine how long this would take if we just did it once a week? It's taken me like a month and a half, and we're still starting the 4th episode. Excuse me. Alright. Dang it. It's just a cough. It doesn't hurt. It just tickles. Yeah. Annoying. Anyway. Well, good morning, my lady. My, you do appear to be in a good mood. What a pleasant awakening you seem to have had. What do you mean, pleasant awakening? I was so excited I couldn't sleep a wink. After all, the curtain is rising on the fun 4th game. It seemed that she truly had been so excited that she hadn't gotten any sleep. Did she show absolutely no signs of lacking sleep because she was young, or because she had the mind of a little kid? Barnaby chose not to say that aloud and laughed instead. I really ran that battler into the ground last time. The look on his face when he was like, "You tricked me!" God, that was so pathetic. Even so, is that guy still feeling down? Feeling down, you say? Well, that's right. That man's a bit too trusting for his age, isn't he? No, I left it up for the viewers to find that one on their own, watch the anime or some such. I have personally done it before, but I missed up on the early text and it didn't play right. I wasn't gonna go redo the entire story because of it. Like we said, it took weeks for us to get to that point anyway. If you like, I could try and do it again and do a true route and see if I can get it going. Indeed. Although you could call that his charm. I can't laugh, or I'll cough. Ain't it the truth, ain't it the truth? Well, speaking of which, didn't he totally fall for that one last time? Yes, totally and splendidly. You violated the purity of one never deceived since the time of his birth, as well as his rosebud-like innocence, all to your heart's content. Even the joy of dashing across a field covered with beautiful new snow on a winter morning and trampling it completely won't even begin to compare. Didn't you take Battler Sama's innocent heart, and quite thrillingly, splendidly, atrociously, mercilessly, and culturedly go just a little too far? And you insulted him to the highest degree, enough to make one uneasy. Most people would be crushed after something like that. Damn it. So much so that they wouldn't want to see your face ever again. I know that much. I also, thought that if he was too disheartened to join us at the table, even though the 4th game is finally starting, that would be such a pain. So, I came to you, thinking that I'd be better to prepare a countermeasure for that case beforehand. In that case, perhaps it really would be best to prepare such a countermeasure. I'm sad to say that your North Wind and the Sun strategy gave Battler-sama quite a shock. Oh, a shock, you say? How bad of one? Beato lowered her voice slightly, asking timidly. Ranave followed suit and lowered his voice in the same way. In truth, he has been crouching and clutching at his knees for some time now. I spoke to him several times, but he did not answer. I also brought him some food, but he never even touched it. That is troublesome. Is he really feeling that down? I can't laugh. Alright. I've already seen it, but yeah, it was a suggested viewing for afterwards. If you'd like, I can go through it again. I'll leave it up to you guys if we do that or not. But I tried to follow it, but there was an error somewhere, either in mine or the save file or the guide. I couldn't remember which. It is only natural. No, it's not. After all, you thoroughly beat him down, my lady. That would make most people start to distrust humans. Oh, distrust of humans. How convenient. Let him give up on humans and trust witches. Oh. Oh. Sorry, I shouldn't fool around too much. Beto had tried to joke about it, but... God. His cough just doesn't go away. Beto had tried to joke about it, but the situation seemed to be quite serious, so that even she took the hint and hid her laughter. Is it really that serious? Should we wait just a little longer before beginning the fourth game? Lady Berncastle's guests will be arriving, so it may be best to open the fourth game quickly. However, perhaps you ought to show a little concern for Battler's feelings, my lady. Concern? Show concern, you say? How should I do that? He is feeling down, so... That's right. Shall I cheer him up? When a person's heart is dark and closed off, interacting with them in a dark manner gains you nothing. Your only option is to shine with a brightness stronger than the dark. Damn it! Quit messing around! Oh, thank you for the host. That should be working. No more. Battler Goon, over here. God. Alright. I'm fine, but... you know. Over here. A croissant baked by... Runovi-sama would be wasted on the likes of you. Why don't I enjoy it myself? Back to the sisters, huh? Battler's stomach involuntarily growled at the fragrant smell of the croissant. His breakfast plate was empty, but Battler hadn't eaten any of it. The biggest glutton of the seven sisters of Purgatory, Beelzebub, had waited for Runovi to leave, and had then come to snatch the food away. Battler had noticed, and they'd been really noisy ever since. Even though Beelzebub only had to give it back immediately, or else throw it under her own mouth right away, she intentionally ran around in circles, making fun of Battler. Give my breakfast back, damn it! If you give it back now, I'll let you off with a single flick to the forehead. But just you try eating it. What? Are you gonna eat me up instead? If you think you can, just try it. I'll bet I'll be as sweet as honey pancakes. Can't. Gotcha. Right now, I want to eat that bread even more than your thighs. Be a good girl and give it here. So resist until the end. I can't do that. I can't do voices. No way, no way. I won't give it to you. Even the croissant wants me to eat it. Yay! Yahoo! Good, good morning, battler. Are you still moping so early in the morning? It's the beginning of a new day and a new game, so let's get our spirits up. Damn innuendos, huh? She flung the door open. Like a marathon runner drawn in a certain caramel box, with her hands held high in an idiotic cheeriness, Beato appeared. For some reason, flags from around the world and confetti scattered about, perfectly complementing this magnificent entrance. Battler and Beelzebub, who had been fighting over the croissant, completely forgot about their argument, speechless. Good morning, Beatrice Selma. I'll just be on my way now. Here, Battler-kun, say, like... We'll say he coughed on the croissant. Hey, morning, Beto. And it doesn't hurt, it's just there. It's not a strain, and I'm going to be coughing all day anyway. Might as well have some fun with it. Thank you for the Thank you for the concern. Hold on. Try a cough drop, see if that helps. I did buy some after all. I just keep forgetting I have some. But I may sound funny while I'm talking though. Hey, morning, Beto. Glad to see you're cheery this morning. Beto and Battler looked at each other. It seemed neither had a clue what was going on with the other. The Battler? What's going on? Right off, eh? He looks totally fine, doesn't he? He isn't clutching his knees, and he's answering. Wait a sec. He was even in the middle of eating. Hey, I can laugh. No, he was sleeping like a baby in his futon, clutching his knees. I informed him that it was time to wake up, but he just wouldn't rise. I tried to feed him, but it seems that a naughty cat wandered in and prevented that. That's lazy stream. Oh, cool. People actually watch the archive. That's good to know. His efforts are pleasing the witch. Well, and the witch is pleasing us at the moment. You tricked me! You should talk. Weren't you the one who played that massive trick last time? I don't have a clue what's going on, but it looks like you got what you deserved. By the way, Ranave, nice one. Thank you very much, Battler-sama. The two men stuck up their thumbs as though they understood each other, chuckling together. It's a manly thing. For a while, Beato was very energetic, trying to hide her embarrassment. Well, she's a witch, just undo it. Don't take me so lightly. Did you really think I'd still be hiding in a corner, holding my knees? And who was that person crying their eyes out in frustration last time? You could have gathered your tears in a jar and called it a face lotion. Shut up. That was, just because I was a little surprised by your crappy act. I might have looked a little lame, but I don't think the same move will work twice. Of course not. And don't disappoint me by falling for the same move over and over again, okay? Yeah, just you watch. I'll show you that I'm a guy who gets stronger every time he's beaten down. But, Beato. Yes? What? Don't do it again. Oh? Why is that? So you really are weak against a rear attack. You and I are enemies, and will certainly never join forces. I now understand that clearly. So, don't you ever try to trick me about that fact again. You say that, but knowing your weakness, I'll... Beato thought they were still joking around, but that tone had disappeared from Battler's expression some time ago. Beato felt as though his eyes were like the surface of black tea that had cooled down. You hear me? Don't do it again. I don't get it. I might do it again when you've forgotten, right? Rear attack, yeah. Don't do it again. Pierced by a strong and forceful gaze, Beato held her tongue. Maybe she was certain that Battler would break that silence with laughter. However, Battler's serious expression didn't change in the slightest. So to break that silence, Beato had no choice but to start laughing herself. I'm not gonna... Very well. You and I are worthy opponents. No matter how friendly our relationship, we'll never be anything more than a pair of enemies. If you have not mistaken this, that is enough for me. That's right. I almost forgot you were my enemy for a second there. I won't embarrass myself like that again. I won't fall for your rear attack again. Never again. I'm not gonna say anything. It seems I'm not the only one who cannot wait for the fourth game. I am pleased, Battler. Come, take your seat. Yep. Just how I like it. Clever little tricks won't work anymore. Stop acting so tough. You remain in a state of surrender for the last mystery in the previous game. The mystery of Nanjo's murder. My answer for that one's still on hold for now. But that doesn't mean that I've lost heart. I'll definitely break your red truth, and show that I can deny witches. Is that necessarily a bad thing that we're childish? Makes things more interesting, more fun. In general. A commendable attitude. You truly are a man like a phoenix. Don't betray my expectations. With that, let us raise the curtains on the fourth game. But before that, it seems we must welcome a new guest. A guest? You remember as well, correct? That mystery girl who appeared at the very end of the last game without an invitation, ruining my fun. That person. She says she wants to join our game. I sent her an official invitation, inviting her to join this match. Ronove, summon our guest. There's no need. I'm already here. The voice that answered Beato's call came from the darkness in a corner of the room. When Battler turned around in surprise, he could now see that mystery girl there. My, how rude. All you had to do was greet us as soon as you arrived. No, it's... There was only one thing I could come up with potentially, was Jessica. They never... Well, they kind of did, but they didn't outright say Jessica couldn't. That's the best I could come up with. But then one of the comments afterwards was that she had no involvement whatsoever with him. I think it was just her body was in no state to, but her mind might? That's the most I could come up with. Other than 18 people. That might be the key thing. But I don't know, I can't tell. I don't make I don't make a habit of talking to people before punching them. After I punch is a different story, though. Oh, and what would you say? Good night. Have a nice dream. How amusing, how truly amusing. Beato cackled and clapped her hands. But that was only Beato, and nothing rose to Battler's face except a bitter smile. Ooh, you sure are a fighter. Beato and the girl's eyes met, and he shrugged his shoulders as he spoke. English, huh? Well, Japanese generally referred to as English as cool, kind of like we think Japanese is cool. Just like, Steins Gate. So cool, son of a bitch. It's like, huh? English is really funny. Really silly. But yeah. Battler and the girl's eyes met, and he shrugged his shoulders as he spoke. But the girl didn't answer, giving only a cold stare in return. Nani? You helped me out at the end of the last game. Thanks for that. I would do a Japanese version of it, like a English swap, but I don't know enough to say what it is. You son of a bitch! Yep, you got it. You helped me out at the end of the last game. Thanks for that. I don't need your gratitude. English! You were just slacking off, but then there's the cool English. Kinda like what she does. Not quite like Hideo. I only told you to open your eyes. That's so true. Stop slacking off, Battler. Beato tried to laugh as though sympathizing with her, but it didn't reach the girl's ears. She did absolutely nothing except stare at Battler with ice-cold eyes. Well, it looks like someone hates me. I'm just annoyed that you aren't taking this fight seriously. Are you saying I'm not serious about this? And don't tell me that travesty earlier was you being serious. Don't take me for a fool. How long do you intend to play along with the witch's farce like this? I'm fighting Beato in my own way. And doing it seriously, of course. The greatest coup. Fate Zero. I think I've seen most of that. I don't think I've seen all of it. Isn't that one a game? That one is just an anime, right? Not actually a visual novel or a book. I guess like I could try Fate Stay Night on here. That's kind of a bit of a monster too. Seriously? Don't make me laugh. You keep on drinking tea and chatting with a witch for all eternity, and call that fighting seriously? Keep the jokes to just your hairdo. Well, that's because I wasn't used to this witch's game in the beginning, and I've been through a lot of harsh stuff. Still, I'm finally starting to see how to fight, and I'm getting the knack of doing it. If the pathetic way I've been acting makes it look like I haven't been serious to you, you're just wrong. That's so. Of course, I know I've got to close in a lot more before I can grab Beato by the collar. But no matter how long that distance may be, it's still finite. And in each game that passes, I'm steadily closing that distance, step by step. Alright. No matter how long it takes, I'll close in on that witch, and I'll definitely checkmate her. It might take 1,000 years to use her phrase, but even so, I'll definitely win, sooner or later. Why? Because I definitely won't accept losing. I definitely won't stop moving forward, closing in on her. In other words, there's just one thing I can say for sure. I will definitely win against that witch someday. That's how it is. You really don't sound like you're in a hurry. Are you even trying to win? Even the finite can become endless if you treat it the wrong way. By now, you've become an Achilles who couldn't even outstrip a turtle. I get it. So this is why I'm needed. At this rate, there's no way you could win against the Endless Witch, even after a billion years. Who are you? It's not like you'll be struck by lightning if you just tell me your name. At that point, the girl fell silent, gazing straight into Battler's eyes. At first, Battler faltered under the firmness of the look, and his gaze wavered slightly, but then his eyes gradually began to be sucked into the pupils that were staring at him. Then, inside those eyes, he saw a light that he'd seen some time before. Battler was struck by how strongly they resembled the eyes of a girl who definitely couldn't be here, even though that was completely impossible. I know it's stupid, but for some reason, it feels true to me. But that can't be right. That person's still supposed to still be 6 years old. You couldn't possibly be Angie, could you? If I were to say, that's right, would you believe me? I'll put it another way. If I said, I am your ally, so trust me, would you believe it? Would you unconditionally trust some unknown girl you're meeting for the first time just because she looks a little like someone you know? It's because you're such a softie that you got tricked so easily in the last game and cried so bitterly. You said it yourself. That kid is 6, right? Do I look like I'm 6? If I were to claim that I'm that kid despite that, would you just swallow that story? If you say it like that, there's no way I can argue back. Sorry. That's right. I am a softie. And that should have been made clear to me after the last game. Is that what you meant when you said I wasn't being serious? Yes. You may think you're fighting against the witch, but you're just getting along with her and playing. You're just playing at fighting in a friendly game of chess. That may be a serious contest for you two, but looking at it from far away, I only see you playing around and following the rules like you're good friends. That's harsh. But, as long as you're unable to win at this game, you won't be released from this place. That's why I came. I came to bring this game to its conclusion. You claim that you're closing in on the witch, but you're just like a hamster running around in a wheel. Oh, one of those? Those things that run around and around in place, night after night. At a glance, you might think that running around in a wheel is endless. The endless witch, Beatrice. It's just like you. He thinks he's fighting, but he's actually just running around in a wheel while making a fool of himself. This isn't a game. Yes, it is. This is nothing more than a cage to shut him up in for all eternity. Oh? You liken my endless to something like a wheel that a mouse plays in. Interesting, interesting. Something that's endless in a certain dimension can be less than endless in a higher one. The fact that a Menger sponge has infinite surface area only matters in a world of less than 3 dimensions. In the 3-dimensional world of reality, it has 0 mass. Not only is it not endless, it doesn't even exist. What an assertive woman. It seems you are worthy of being called my enemy. Who are you? I am your ally, and an enemy of witches. Of course, you don't have to believe it. No one can prove that I really am your ally. On the contrary, it's more desirable that you keep your guard up strongly enough to find me very suspicious. That's right. Last time ended up pretty bad. Oh yeah, I guess. I've got to be at least that careful. I don't plan on getting tricked twice. About 4 times, Battler. Beto laughed in a truly pleased way, which was humiliating only to Battler. People don't just get tricked out of the blue. That only happens when they fail to check things for themselves and leave it to other people. Saying that you thought the light had turned green just because you saw other people start crossing doesn't count as an excuse for getting into an accident. Get it? Yeah, I get it. You're telling me not to swallow information given to me by others, but to think for myself. In the past, I swallowed all the magic Beato showed me. I stopped thinking. So I was useless. That's actually a very valid point for more than just this game. Battler grimaced as he remembered his many painful losses. The witch watched and laughed again, putting on a bold appearance. I'll offer you advice in a way that works to your advantage. Of course, you shouldn't swallow everything I say, because no one can provide certain proof that I'm your ally. In the last game, Virgilia, who I thought was an ally, was actually on the witch's side. Battler couldn't rid his head of that eerie smile worn by Virgilia, a person he'd once even thought of as trustworthy and reliable. So, I don't need you to unconditionally trust me. You might as well take my advice as nothing more than an opinion to be considered. After all, the player who's fighting in a game against the witch is you. That's right. Saying I lost because I followed the moves of an outsider would be just too pathetic of an excuse. An analytical mind. Well, there's also the kind of like midway of trust but verify. Trust what they say, but make sure what they said is true. It generally works out. Oh yes, my opponent is Battler. You are nothing more than an outsider. You should bear that in mind. Alright then. Well then, you should give me all your money. Donate it all right here in chat. It's a good thing, I'll pay you back. Totally, man. No, I'm not an outsider. But Beatrice and Ushirimiya Battler, typo, and I, who gaze down from above. It's almost like a fight in the shape of a triangle. At a glance, it might not look like a united front, but having a united front doesn't necessarily mean fighting together. Oh. Yeah, no, it's... You gotta learn the best way to apply that personality, the best way to apply that flaw. You may not work in a court of law very well, but you'll probably work better in a cafeteria serving. Like, what do you want? I want a hot dog. Okay. First example that popped in my head. I don't know if it's any good or not, but it's not about you being flawed. It's about finding the one way that works for you. The way I picture a lot of stuff like that is you're a puzzle piece, and you can fit mostly into one slot, but it's still not quite right. The trick is finding out where your piece actually goes on the puzzle board. Yeah, it's It happens. I enjoy mystery novels and things. I'm getting decent at doing twisted logic, but I've done all of the Phoenix Wright games. I'm playing Umineko, still can't figure it out. It doesn't mean you're bad. It's just they're these shows and games and stories are a bit more complicated, and they're designed to be like that. How was Manjo killed last time? I don't know, but apparently it works out somehow. And then there's that. For example, Battler's best way to circumvent his inability to travel with vehicles is just do it himself. He's a big enough guy. He can swim to Rokkenjima, right? Right? Now I'm just picturing him going, oh, and just madly swimming around, just like waves coming up from behind him like a torpedo off to the island. But knowing his luck, he'd probably miss and hit the next one. And other people love vehicles and welcome rear attacks. That just make the world beautiful. Sure, let's go with that. I'm just not going to comment on that one. We're all... Here's my comment. We're all childish. So, no adults allowed on this stream. Just no adults. Adults are meanie faces. We're kids. Kids rock, right? Like the story before this gets too out of hand. You guys can keep it up, but I'm going to keep reading. Oh, what an odd thing to say. Yeah, yeah, that's definitely an odd thing to say is what we're talking about. Sorry. Just now, he described fighting with you as closing the distance. But you can't measure distance with a single eye. Only with two eyes are things visible in 3 dimensions, and only then can distance be judged. And even when you have 2 fields of vision, it's pointless if they're in the same place. You can pin down witches miraculously when they're far apart. Basic triangulation. Shooting from different positions and different angles. So, basically it's crossfire. Interesting. We're shooting from different positions and different angles. So I won't get along with anybody. That's how I'll keep my own position separate and catch the witch in a pincer attack. Are you okay with this, Battler? This girl may actually be an ambush I set up, right? She might just be saying something plausible to gain your trust, right? Maybe. She's been saying that over and over again herself. So of course, I can't blindly accept her advice. But as to whether she's worthy of trust or not, I can think for myself and make a decision. As long as I don't stop thinking for myself, I won't be tricked by anyone again. With confidence, to assure me a Battler. After you've said so much, it makes me want to trick you all over again, you see? Yeah, that's on Twitches. I can't wait to see what kind of face you'll make when you realize you've been duped once more. How pleasant. It looks like you know my name, but I don't know yours. Tell me. For a while, the girl remained silent, without changing her expression even once. She looked as though she couldn't decide whether to say her name or not, or possibly, as though she was deciding on the name she'd say on the spot. Abigail. Oh. Gretel. Gretel? You are? That's my name, dumbass. Call me Gretel. Then should I call myself Hansel? Just kidding. I'm a Shurmia Battler. Call me Battler. Nice to meet you. I hate handshakes. Don't take it personally. No, really? Sorry. I've never known of somebody who hates handshakes. Not, like, good at them, but hate them. That's an odd one. Sorry. After all, it isn't certain that you're my ally. And you just told me to keep my guard up, too. Battler drew back his right hand, which he had stuck out. His bitter smile disappeared and was replaced with a strong resolve directed at his new fourth game. Battler, think deeply about why you must win against this witch. You can't stop with something abstract like, I'll beat her because I don't like it. Have a deep conviction that you'll definitely beat the witch and escape from this world. Ah, okay. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Yeah. Okay. I don't pay it much mind, but sure. Because there's definitely someone waiting for you to come back. For that kid's sake as well. Maybe there was something she wanted to say. Gretel clenched her fists in front of her chest and hung her head in silence, at a loss for words for a short while. As though smashing through that silence, Beato spoke up in a forceful voice. Good. That should be enough for an introduction for Gretel or whoever. Come, try to remember. What happened on October 4th? Let the curtain open on the fourth game. At the same time, as though it had been blown by a sudden gust of wind, the clock that had been turned back to October 4th, 1986, started to move. Yeah, there is that, I know, but... Nobody cares about mistypes. They're fun to point out in professional formats, but chat is chat. While we remained in the witch's tea room, the blue-gray sea and the green Rokkenjima spread out beneath us, and we could see a boat heading there, its wake trailing behind it. The sky was already cloudy, and it seemed that the barrier of the typhoon would soon shut the island away. Oh yeah, okay. There was the boat docked in the harbor, and Goda helping to unload it. Then, once all of its passengers had disembarked, the boat began to separate from the shoreline. The relatives were gradually swallowed up by the island. Looks like you're as sure as ever, Maria. Maria-chan, you'll trip if you aren't careful. Look out. Oh, oh, oh. Gonna fall, sink. The long-missed cousins I had loved dashed across the beach, getting swallowed by the forest path that led to the mansion, and disappeared. And of course, Oni-chan could be seen among them too. Damn it! Stop right there, Maria! You nimble little brat! Oh! Maria, One-chan, whom I'd loved, started dashing, and Oni-chan chased after her. They were swallowed up by the forest. Following them, father and mother were also swallowed up. The rest of the parents were swallowed up. They were swallowed up, leaving only me behind. 'Cause you're a dork, Battler. Or a dumbass, that works too. How long are you gonna joke around and play with a witch in a place like this? Come back quickly, Oni-chan. Don't leave me all alone. And realize how cruel and lonely the world I'm isolated in is. Battler is pretty much a dumbass. That much is true. But yeah, it's Angie's Future, St. Lucia Academy after 1986. Where are we going here? But I keep in the back of my mind, just a tangent, all the prior games. I think they will all come into play, maybe on this episode. And so I keep trying to put it all together. And for the most part, I think I got it. But I would not bet any money on it. I am bad at bets. So you're saying all 17-year-olds are dumbasses? Yeah, I have to admit that point. I have to, yeah. All young people are stupid. Does that mean I'm old now? Anyway. Good day to you. Good day to you. Good day to you is the standard greeting used here. No matter how many years pass by, this style of greeting still feels very awkward. Even though I'd responded to the greeting in order to stifle that awkward feeling. The classmate who had spoken looked at me blankly. Huh? Uh-huh? What's that? It seems you're mistaken. Their choice of words and manner were certainly what you'd expect from a school of rich girls. Old and childish at the same time. Alright. Yeah, well, we can grow old, but doesn't mean we have to grow up. Their choice of words and manner were certainly what you'd expect from a school for rich girls. But the actual meaning was as innocent and cruel as you'd expect from kids of that age. It seems they found it funny that I'd mistakenly thought the greeting was directed at me. No, it might be the opposite. Maybe they didn't know how to react to being suddenly greeted by a gloomy, quiet kid like me. No, judging by the gazes of my classmates who were looking this way over their shoulders and whispering to each other. It looked as though some of them considered this refreshing morning ruined. I was dark because I was disliked. So, trying not to get in the way of everyone's refreshing morning anymore, I stooped lower and entered the classroom. Almost like I was cutting through the aisle in a movie theater while the movie was running. I hate doing that. This is an all-dorm school, St. Lucia Academy. It's not a school that anyone can get into by taking a test. It's a hidden rich girl school, known of only by a select group of celebrities from various fields. Wow. We'll be 70, crotchety. Oh, that's the point where you're allowed to be crotchety and have fun at yelling at the young kids. Get off my lawn! Make fun of it. Do what you can do. Go ahead and bring out the rotary phone, see if anybody knows how to use it. Things like that. For lofty nobles who truly wish their daughters could be raised like saints, this is probably the ideal school in which to protect them from the impurities of the common world. Or like if you're like around any young people, like just bring in old shit that they wouldn't know how to use and pretend like you use it all the time. Oh yeah, here's the TV, black and white, click, 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 type, and just to see what kind of looks they'll have on their face. This is what you watch TV on? Yeah, what? We aren't stupid. That is to be debatable on people in general. But at the same time, laughing too hard, it was probably also convenient for nobles who wanted to confine daughters they didn't want out in public. As well as an academy isolated from the impurities of the common world, it also held excellent potential as a prison school. Ooh. I was truly among the latter, and was confined in St. Lucia Academy, forced to live my life in dreariness. Of course, there weren't that many students like me, and you couldn't tell us apart at a glance. However, even if we never fessed up about it, you could usually figure out who we were by watching how we acted. Well, I think the phrase for that is book smart, not street smart, or street smart, not book smart. You're smart this way, not dumb that, not smart that way. That whole quote. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will always believe itself to be an idiot. Because how's a fish supposed to climb a tree? If you have that as the measure of who is smart and who isn't, it's a stupid test. After all, we were always hanging our heads with an expression on our faces as though the whole world had abandoned us. Anyway, every class had one or two kids like that, so even if they didn't speak up about it, you could guess who they were. Therefore, even though I never confessed that I was one of those kids, at some point, everyone in my class knew about it. Just like how the seriousness of an injury becomes a sign of status in a hospital room, how noble a birth one had become a sign of status here. Those girls who couldn't be acknowledged in public were probably nothing more than filth to the others. They must have thought that getting involved with such students would dirty them as well. When a rumor sprang up about a particular student, those fastidious girls would grow cold and distant, chasing that student out of all social groups. Thanks to that, I led a quiet school life like this, all by myself. Well, that's only if hearing people whisper behind my back, finding my things lost or broken all the time, and having everyone pretend like they didn't know anything. Can be called a quiet school life. I've never quite understood why people do stuff like that, go out of their way to pick on somebody. A generic bully like beat up or whatnot, yeah, but why people go through so much extent to do stuff like that? I can see some logic to it, lack of a better word, but it still doesn't make sense to go that far. Even this early in the morning, I must look worn out. I can almost understand why my other classmates, who had a refreshing morning, looked at my face and wanted to click their tongues. Consciously trying to do as I should and avoid tainting my classmates' morning, I quietly took my seat. Then, unusually, someone came to talk to me. It was the class leader. "Good day to you, Ushirmiya-san. You seem to be in a bad mood this morning. Were you able to get enough sleep? Is there some business you have with me? You're the only one who has not submitted her questionnaire for the class presentation, Ushirmiya-san. Did you forget that the deadline was yesterday? I'm pretty sure I heard something about that last week." I see that as the logic, but it just seems so many mental gymnastics to justify that. But I guess I've seen worse mental gymnastics. I don't know, it just is stupid in all manner of it. I'm pretty sure I heard something about that last week, but I thought that questionnaire hadn't been passed out yet. The details would be written there, so there shouldn't have been any need to remember them beforehand. I wasn't given a questionnaire. That can't be. I believe the dormitory leader handed them out to everyone. If you lost it, all you have to do is honestly say so. I lost it. I'll fill it in right now, so could you give me a sheet? Again. Either someone lost my sheet, or they intentionally didn't tell me about it. But I have no way of knowing who was behind that. In the end, treating it as though it was my own carelessness would settle everything more quickly. Once you filled it out, drop it in the questionnaire box in the student council room yourself. Our class is the only one that didn't get everyone in by yesterday. As I hung my head at the class leader's scolding, I could hear the giggles and whispers of people watching, coming from no direction in particular. Ushirmiya-san did it again. She's just so careless. She doesn't deserve to be in this school. She has no dignity and no manners either. I didn't get any bullying. My life has been very neutral. It's like eerily so. Nothing insanely good, nothing insanely bad happened. It just kind of happened in my life personally. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Major theme. Like Beatrice and her trickery ways? I don't know. She's kind of a bully. Look what she did to Battler in the second game. That's not very friendly, I think. Sorry, girls, but I've dealt with much worse when it comes to unfair personal attacks. As I froze my heart and let those arrows of ridicule pass by, I quickly filled out the questionnaire. When I learned that father and mother and Oni-chan and all the rest of my family had died, I was at the house of my grandpa on my mother's side. The only survivor of the accident was Ushiramiya Eva. Only Aunt Eva. Even at the time, I hadn't really liked Aunt Eva. At a glance, she would act kindly, but even as young as I was, I could see that she was somehow making fun of father and the rest, and I hadn't liked it. Taught me some things about myself, yeah. I've never not been through bullying, but I have been through hardship in life in general, and the low points in life let you see how good the high points in life are, and you learn things about yourself, most definitely. Wow, that's pretty bad. Well, that's not true now. I can't attest to anything in the past, but we're not hideous, not by a long shot. I've seen your pictures. You've shown them to me. Hell, I met you. I traveled halfway across the world just to meet you. Don't forget that. So, when it was decided that Aunt Eva would take care of me, I was pretty miserable. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered if that gentle Uncle Hideyoshi and George Oni-chan had been with me, but I hated the thought of living all alone with Aunt Eva. I'd frankly said that to Grandpa, hoping to live together in his house. However, Aunt Eva had been very insistent that she should be the one to look after me. She had no desire to remarry, so as her successor, I was essential if the Ushimiya family was to continue. Aunt Eva felt very strongly about the family. She insisted that she take charge of me right away, so that she could give me an education and lifestyle fitting for a successor. Shit like that, yeah. It's like, what did you do here? What do you think about this? I don't care. Nothing happened. Does this work? Yeah, sure. You got a B. Cool. Made it up. Yeah. Well, it was appreciated being with you guys. But yeah, it's one thing school does well. Two things. One, learning to make shit up. Two, learning how to get out of shit. Whereas school doesn't quite teach you what it should teach you. They don't teach you to think for yourself. Like Battler here. Well, maybe Battler. We've yet to see. This is the ugly, fat, geek, nerdy kid. And again, this is... I don't quite have the right words for it. This is something I hate about my life. Sorry, the cough drop is still there digging in my gums. Not necessarily hate, but my life was like neutral. Eerily so. I'm not handsome. I'm not ugly. No one's told me either way. And nothing really good, nothing bad. So I can't truly relate to all that stuff because nothing happened. My life is so full of a lot of nothing that it's weird to me. I don't know. I'm looking to change that though. And you can always change in life. Things are never stuck the way you think they are. And I'm slowly learning that over and over and thumping it into my head through this Twitch stream. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of it. There's a lot of... Yeah, there's a term for it, but again, I can't remember it. I don't know why, but like their parents were bad, so they were bad, so they were bad to their friends. Their friends were then bad to their pets. Type of it just chain of hate, anger, and negative feelings. But yeah, it's the fact that you made up answers on tests and stuff means you're a very creative person. You're not meant for the scholastic tests. You're more for the creative stuff, which is kind of ish where I'm filling in too. Yeah, and here in America, there's no any of the schools I've went to. There's been no creative writing class. It's all reading pre-established stuff and then writing essays. There's no story writing classes I was ever even able to get into. It's kind of weird. And yeah. and yeah, I kind of feel the same way about things. I'm not necessarily glad, but proud of the mental scars we've gone through, the emotional scars, I guess, for me, for some other things. But I wouldn't truly wish them on anybody, but I wish that people who have had them, are able to rise above them and learn from them. But yeah, and a lot of people do grow out of their shitty phase. A lot of people don't, because they never have to. And that's the thing. Hopefully most people do. It does get to a certain point, though, once they hit this point, them ever turning back becomes almost zero. Not quite, but it gets low. Some people do learn grow, yes, it's indeed. And that's the good thing. The willingness to learn and grow is the key factor in that, though. Anyway, a bit of a tangent, so I'm going to keep on the story. After that, it seems that confusing negotiations with lawyers took place. Oh yeah, we're talking about Angie and Eva's. But in the end, I was forced to go live with Aunt Eva. You guys had such a tangent that I forgot what we were talking about in the story. For a moment there, anyway. After doing that, Aunt Eva told me something. You must bear all of the glory and history of the Ushimiya family. And in order to make you a fitting successor to bear that, the rest of your life will be dedicated to frantic studying. Sacrifice the rest of your life for the Ushimiya family. That's what she said. That's horrible. No. Oh? At first, I thought she meant that literally, but I quickly realized that wasn't the case. I am bad at foreshadowing and stuff, so I haven't a feeling for what you're talking about, but I haven't a clue, really. We'll just run into it when we run into it. Because even now, in Aunt Eva's eyes, the one most fitting to succeed her was the late George Oni-chan. At our first meal together, I received strict instructions and questioning about table manners. Table manners are the dumbest thing I know of. They're just so needlessly pointless, especially for the rich and fancy. You've got 12 forks this way, 13 spoons this way, 2 knives for this, and you can only use a specific one for specific things. And if you don't slurp or not slurp, that stuff drives me crazy. I received strict instructions and questioning about table manners, and was forced to listen to her abuse Mom and Dad as though they'd been neglectful in their discipline. I also received the same strict instructions regarding manners at my first party, and my clumsiness had been disparaged in front of everybody, forcing me to endure insults to Mom and Dad as well. Well, I know it's the saddest thing, but it's such a stupid saddest thing that it shouldn't even be a thing. Miguel, here's my cup. I reuse it. That would probably be bad manners for people, but just, I don't get it. I don't get table manners. Even if someone were, other than, like, don't talk to someone face to face with your mouth full of food, or, like, drip things on the table, blatant stuff like that, yeah, no, that's table manners. But anything above that, I would actually ignore. You're supposed to use, it's a fork. It's a fork, man. Just shut up. Anyway, after that repeated over and over, I eventually began to understand. Antiva didn't really want to make me her successor. She thought George Onichan was the only one truly suited to be her successor, and she couldn't forgive the fact that it was to be me instead. So she insulted me in front of lots of people. She humiliated me, and she made it known exactly how I was inferior to George Onichan to both acquaintances and strangers. Surely, in place of a memorial service for her dead son, or rather, she must still be mourning his death. No leaves, so you aren't obliged either. Yeah, it's... Don't sneeze on the food. Oh yeah, that one! I had forgotten about that one. I should be doing that more often. Not sneezing on food. Or coughing, for that matter. I'll keep that in mind next time. Now I'm picturing big old fancy dining room table. Just complete, like, 20 sets of utensils. Completely lavish dish. And it's mounted up with microwave pizza rolls. How would you eat finger food with table manners with cutlery? Would you have to knife and fork a burger, or could you just eat it? I'm curious now. What do table manners say about a burger? I'd like to see them try and do table manners like that. Anyway, we are very childish here, very silly people. I'm glad to have you guys here. You make things interesting. Magical Goated Chief. I'm thinking Sailor Moon and Goda in some crazy outfit making just completely lavish dishes with a big old giant transformation scene and love and poof, it's giant turkey dinner. We really shouldn't be laughing here. We're at a scene where it's very poor for Angie's here. Hunted birds and stuff. Alright, but it's just still, it's hypocrites, all of them. Or, I don't know. Bigots, whatever the word is. It don't matter. They're stupid. We're awesome, they're stupid. That's all there is to it. However, that wasn't something I could endure. I couldn't possibly live together with Aunt Eva. I don't blame you. I was kept like a pet, my life continually compared with her dead son's. Yeah, why, if Eva was a murderer, why is George dead? I understood that even when I was still in elementary school. I tried to escape the Ushimiya house and run off to the house of my grandpa on my mother's side. However, Aunt Eva had already foreseen that. Though, thinking back on it, she might have lured me into escaping. I was caught by the guards and brought back, and for being a coward who had smeared the Ushimiya family crest with mud and tried to throw it away. Starting the war between classes, ain't we? Well, yeah. 7th graders are better than 6th graders. Everybody knows that. Throw it away. In a way that makes my whole body shake and shiver just remembering it. I was punished. How should I describe what Aunt Eva was like when she punished me? In a frenzy? Gleeful? I saw the anger and sadness of losing her beloved son, and well as the hatred and pain for me stealing that inheritance from the son who should have received it, and the dark pleasure at being able to let those feelings out on me. I was hit with all those negative emotions at once. Pardon me. Then, all of my free time and freedom to act was stolen, and I was put under surveillance around the clock. I may have lived in a gorgeous mansion, dressed in expensive clothes, but my heart and my dignity had been trampled upon, and I was the Ushimi family's slave, its cattle. Compared to that lifestyle, the derisive laughter of my classmates here was calm and pleasant. They caused my heart no trouble. After burying almost all the fields of the questionnaire with nothing in particular, oh, and I hate that one too, I folded it and put it in my pocket, because if I left it in my desk, it might disappear again. Questions. Do you want to watch, like, random name, the Kardashians for this, or this, or that, or this? It's like, I don't care for any of that. Nothing that matters. Whatever. This one, that one, this one, that one. Here you go. I don't care. I hated that stuff. During lunch break, after dropping it off at the post box in the student council room, I finished lunch by myself, as usual, and headed behind the school building where no one could be seen. Only my time by myself could protect me from the derisive laughter and gossip. Since I was hated and didn't have a single friend, my time alone was the most kind to me. After checking the surrounding bushes to see whether some malicious classmates were hiding and threatening my time of quiet, I finally relaxed the tension from my entire body, knowing that I had gained some true peace. Then, I let out a sigh. It faltered, heavily, as though it was the first time I had breathed out today. My old favorite place behind the vegetable garden storehouse had been found out by my classmates, and I had been teased, so this was my new lunchtime hideaway. There was nowhere to sit behind the school building. As I crouched near the wall in the shadow of the bushes, I opened my bag and took out a book with an elaborate old-fashioned binding. Just glancing at it, you'd probably think it was a religious book or something written in the Middle Ages. But this wasn't a book. It was a diary. Of course, it wasn't my diary. There weren't any special things worth writing about in my daily life. Every single day was just gray, cold, and dry. In those completely unchanging days, there aren't any changes worth writing down. This was the diary of Maria One-chan, a girl I'd been very close to. She'd been a bit strange and 3 years older than me, but One-chan was always a warm, wonderful cousin. He would always grab me by the hand and let me join in on some fun game. I remember that being able to see her was the most fun part of our family gatherings. When I opened the diary, the characters, which were made fairly skillfully, considering that this was an elementary schooler, were packed close together, though they were written on every other line. Was she just hopelessly obsessed with jotting everything down in her diary? Probably not. Oh, what's my shirt? It's my Samus Super Metroid shirt that I got from Germany on my trip to Comic-Con. Yeah, this is one of the shirts I got over there. Part of Germany. I love these shirts, by the way. To her, writing her daily life down in a diary was probably like having a conversation with another part of herself. So, rather than an object on which the events of her day were written down, Maria One-chan's diary was written like a letter to another part of herself, telling of the events of that day. Well, thank you. That's one of the reasons I got it too. I like it. I found this diary among her belongings after her death and secretly took it home. At first, I'd felt that reading someone else's diary might be boorish and satisfied myself with just keeping it by my side. But I couldn't help flipping through the pages and reading through it bit by bit. And by now, she had become my only friend. I gently opened the page with the bookmark. Sorry to keep you waiting, Maria One-chan. Could you let me hear your story again? At the same time, a very, very soft breeze blew, tickling the paper. I thought the open diary might have sparkled faintly. The weather's good today. Mario-Nachan loves the wonderful rays of sunlight. So I'm sure she's in a good mood. On the pages of the open diary, no, in the world of the diary, Mario-Nachan showed herself. I'm pretty sure she was 9 when she died, though her form was already younger than me. But I call her One-chan, so she affectionately calls me Angie. Oh, Angie, you were slow getting here today. Was it packed at lunch? Yes, it's always packed. Groups of friends set up camp in the seats, and they stay there even after they've finished eating. It's pretty fatal if you get to the dining hall late. I was on cleanup duty today. Ooh, I eat fast. So do I. I can just I get like half hour, an hour for lunch. I finish in 5 minutes. It's just like, okay, that was it. Now what? The faster you eat, the more you can play. Oh. Maybe she realized I was holding a grudge because that duty had been forced upon me and shortened my lunch break by a bit. Mario-Nachan brightly changed the subject. Grateful for that act of kindness, I responded by saying I was a slow eater. Maria calmed me down, saying something about teaching me the trick to eating fast. I read about it in her diary. No, I heard it from Mario-Nachan. She was ranked number 1 among the girls in speed eating rating for her grade's newspaper. She was apparently very proud of that, but a little disappointed that her mother, Androza, hadn't praised her very much for it. I could totally see that. I think I just habitually eat fast. It's like, here's food, eat it, now I'm done. It's just how I've done things, no particular reason why, but nothing against anybody doing it, taking a while. It's fine. And yeah, doing it when you're just not all there yet, yeah, I can understand that. For something, I could totally see stuff like that. Oh, so I guess Maria would get mad at you. You should eat faster. You can play more. And let's start our story for today. How far did we get yesterday? This far. Until you got Sakutaro as a present, Mario-Nachan. You promised that you'd tell me about Sakutaro. Oh, let's talk about Sakutaro. You know, Sakutaro is a really cute stuffed animal. I'm sure you'd like him too, Angie. Oh. Yeah. Tell me that story. The only time I can relax at school is when I'm listening to your stories during lunch break. If I have something else to do, that it does slow things down a fair bit. So yeah, Duolingo and things would do it. Speaking of, I still gotta get back into the habit of that. Oh, I'll tell you about it. Sakutaro was really, When I looked at Mario-Nachan, who was always in a good mood, it made my heart feel warm as well. As I listened to her tale, I began to get absorbed into her world. And that's a good feeling, when you just get absorbed into the world and just, you're there. What I hope I can partially accomplish with this thing here. Hey, pumpkin.
Happy birthday, Maria.
Happy birthday, Mario. Sorry I got back so late. Yeah, you've just gone down the rabbit hole. Ooh, good job with your work, Mama. I know you're busy, so even though you were late, I waited without crying. I was good and waited watching TV. Apparently it's new outfit time. Yes, you're such a good girl, Mario. As a present for waiting politely, you can order anything you want today. Of course, only as much as you can eat, okay? Oh, cool. Rosa probably had to put that statement in there from experience for prior ones. Today, can I change my corn soup to onion gratin soup? I guess the cop ruffle off. Yes, that's fine. Coughing, yay. It's 200 yen more expensive, but can I change it to prosciutto pizza? Yes, that's fine. I am bad at pronouncing food names. Fancy ones at that. If you really can't eat it. But that's okay. It's your birthday after all. There must be a reward for the good girl who waited so patiently. Then can I have enchilada cheesecake for dessert? And then the chef's choice fruit salad and kids' French fries. I want to drink melon soda too. I'm a good girl. Mama praised me. She did, actually. That's kind of rare, from what we know. You're getting a little too excited. If you don't quiet down a bit, you'll disturb the other customers. When Rosa gently admonished her, Maria stuck her tongue out and eased up a little. But it seemed that she was having a hard time repressing her excitement at being able to eat out with her mother after such a long time. Today was Maria's birthday. Rosa always tried to let Maria spend her birthdays at great restaurants. When Maria had been in kindergarten, they sometimes invited other kids from the neighborhood over and had a party at home. Rosa would make a wonderful cake and snacks and decorate the house herself, making it a huge celebration. But when they moved and Maria no longer had friends in the neighborhood, Rosa had started splurging at expensive restaurants instead. Polish, huh? However, today they were in a normal family restaurant. It was also a little late in the day for a kid like Maria to eat there, even with a parent. Actually, she had gotten reservations at a fantastic place that would surely have pleased Maria. Of course, she had also prepared a wonderful cake with Maria's name written on it. But Rosa just hadn't been able to finish up her business and had been forced to cancel. Since that plan had been traded for a local family restaurant, Rosa felt a little indebted to Maria. So she was prepared to spoil Maria a bit and let her have whatever she wanted tonight. You never used to eat much, did you, Maria One-chan? Was it really alright to order that much? Oh. I can't eat very much, but I like to have a lot lined up. You know, like on a birthday table. If it's colored all over with red and blue and green and yellow, it makes you really happy. You're right. Having your birthday table be colorful can make you feel happy. Birthdays at my place were no match for yours, Maria One-chan. But the cakes we bought at the Fumiya store in front of the station were always gorgeous. And she thought back to her own birthdays nostalgically. Even though Dad was busy, he sometimes came home just to show up at my birthday party, and then went right back to his company. At the time, I was sad, but now I understand how important I was to Dad. The old bastard. Of course, Mom also took very good care of me. In particular, her birthday presents were always in excellent taste, and she sometimes arranged for them several months in advance. I don't do that, not in advance at all. I still don't have any presents for Christmas for people. I should work on that. Even though we always sent an invitation to Battler Oni-chan, he didn't get along with Dad or something, so he kept not coming. So, when he did come, I was really happy. The birthday parties when the whole 4-person family gathered made for fun memories that I'll never forget. Angie's birthday sounded a lot like fun, too. Battler and Uncle Rudolph are really lively. Hey, yay! Battler got covered in cola. Maria One-chan peeked into my happy memory. As I sat quietly wearing the origami helmet that Dad had made for fun, I was a little embarrassed. In my hand was a paper gun that Brother Oni-chan had folded for me, and Mom was taking a commemorative photo. It was the happiest moment of my life. Interesting, cool. But your birthday's no worse, Maria One-chan. And this is the day you get him, right? Sakutaro. Oh, I was really looking forward to it. I got so excited, wondering when Mama would show me the wrapped presents in the corner of her bag. Sakutaro is the name of a stuffed animal that Maria was to receive that day. For quite some time before then, Aunt Rosa had been making a stuffed animal to give Maria as the present today. Hearing that it was a cute lion stuffed animal, Maria One-chan had already given it the name Sakutaro, even though she hadn't received it yet. Today, she was looking forward to meeting Sakutaro, even more than her own birthday. Aunt Rosa ran a clothing design company. It seemed to be some kind of brand name. What was it? Auntie Rosa? It seemed their catchphrase was, "I can't forgive the me of yesterday." Unfortunately, I've never met someone who knew of that brand name. Maybe it wasn't that famous. Apparently not. So, Aunt Rosa was pretty skilled with her hands. I heard that she made some of the clothing she wore herself. So making a stuffed animal had to be well within her capabilities. A handmade stuffed animal. That's pretty amazing. By the way, did you call it Sakutaro? Oh, I actually wanted to call it Sakura, but it's a male lion, so she told me to give it a boy's name. So I added a boy like Taro and called him Sakutaro. Eventually, the last "do" disappeared. Why, Sakura? Oh, the main character in Card Master Sakura. Card Captor. But they can't use that word. It was the name of the main character in a TV anime that was popular at the time. The fact that she simply borrowed the name of a character she liked was, how should I say it, as innocent and cute as you'd expect from someone that age. Yeah, I know that, like, Polish people are the butt of jokes, but I don't know why, how, or any of it. Just that it is. I don't participate in any of it, but I just know that Polish people are the running gag in Europe or something. I don't know. Ooh, Mama. Still no Sakutaro? I want to let Sakutaro join in on my birthday too. Presents always come at the end, right? If you open it now, it'll get dirty. Hold on until the meal is over. Then I'll finish eating quickly. Ooh. As soon as she proclaimed that, she started tearing into her meal. Aunt Rosa got mad at her, saying that was rude. It seemed that she'd expected this would happen right away. I also thought that, given how straightforward Maria was, that was probably what she'd do. It was kind of pleasant when my expectations weren't betrayed. But yeah, it's just... In America, we have a phrase for what you're doing there called "stick it to the man." Or in the famous words of Jack Black, "stick it to the man neosis." It's an illness that, lifelong. But yeah, no, it's... No reason you can't rebel. Go for it. I'm an American, so our entire country is literally founded on rebellion, so go ahead. In the end, Aunt Rosa lost to her daughter's eyes, which were sparkling with anticipation, cleaned up the table, and took out the long-awaited wrapped present. Happy birthday, Maria. I wasn't able to spend much time on it, so I couldn't make it very well. Oh, if you made it, I'll be happy with anything. Oh. Sakutaro. Aunt Rosa spoke a bit humbly, but Maria Onei-chan was happy even before opening the wrapping. I could really understand that feeling. It's not a problem of quality. Just the fact that it was a handmade present was more pleasing than anything. Can I open it? Can I open it? I wanted to wait until we get back home before doing it. But just for a bit, okay? We'll just take a look and say hello, then put it back. You can give him a proper greeting once we get home. We're in public, so you can't fool around, okay? Can you promise? Yeah, some of the best things in life do start from a point of darkness. And like I said, you have to see the darkness to see how much the light actually is. But then, condolences for your grandparents. They happen to do that. Old people die. But it's what you do is you remember the good times you have with people, animals, pets, whatever, friends. Remember the good and value it. Ooh. Promise, promise. So, can I open it? Can I open it? Mama? Yes, yes, just for a bit, okay? Yay! Before Aunt Rosa finished talking, Maria started unwrapping it. I could totally picture this happening. As soon as she did, yellow and orange peeked out. What appeared was a slightly blank-looking lion stuffed animal, with cute round eyes and a white chest. Alright, well, cool. Power to you, then, for wanting to visit the place. Alright, but yeah. I need to learn languages. I need to pick those back up. I've got a knack for them, but just no drive for them. It's really frustrating. I'm gonna learn German. Probably Japanese. No guarantees on that one, but we're gonna work on it. I will, trust me. It was about the size of a small pillow. It looked pretty big next to someone as short as Maria Onei-chan, but it probably wasn't that large. From the perspective of someone who didn't know better, it would probably look like something cheap bought from a department store or something. But to Maria Onei-chan, it was her mother's handmade stuffed animal, the only one of its kind in the world, and irreplaceable. So tempted to buy it, huh? Sakutaro, Sakutaro? Cute, cute, so cute. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama. Thank you so much for making such a cute stuffed animal, even though you're so busy with work. If you praise me that much, it's actually embarrassing. I couldn't take much time, so I couldn't make anything that good. I actually wanted to make one so big that you couldn't wrap your arms around it. No, this is good. With this size, we can always be together. We can go out together. Sakutaro, I'm your Onei-chan. Who are you? It really is an adorable stuffed animal. So this kid is Sakutaro, your best friend. Ooh. Ugly cries. Oh, we can't go to school together, but me and my best friend are always together at home. You know, Sakutaro is really innocent and cute, and always nice to me. He supports me when I'm feeling down, and plays a lot with me when I'm feeling good. So, I'm never lonely anymore. Not lonely when Mama's busy with work and I'm all alone. Not even when no one plays with me at school. Isn't that right, Sakutaro? Oh, you? And this story, we go from family conference to murder mystery to witches to time travel to stuffed animals. Stories go all over the place. Do you have any plushies, Beato? Well, considering Beatrice is quite self-centered, I'd imagine she's have stuffed plushies of herself. I would not put that past the Golden Witch Beatrice. Yeah, this is, or maybe like versions of like all the Seven Sisters and a little bigger one for Ranove. At school, Maria and Achan had lived in the same kind of environments as I did. Compared to the other kids in her class, Maria Achan's tempo was always a little slow. Her sensibilities and ways of viewing things were a little peculiar and a little too idiosyncratic for her to blend in. Her grades were low as well, and since she was talkative about everything related to the occult, her specialty, she was treated like a weirdo by everyone else in class. If you were touched by Maria Onei-chan, you'd be cursed, stuff like that. Apparently, everyone in her class acted like she was disgusting, made fun of her, and avoided her. If a boy bumped into Maria Onei-chan, he'd start rubbing that part against the other boys as if he'd gotten some scum on him. They'd pick up their stuff like it was something filthy and chase the other boys around with it. It seems the girls thought even speaking to her was unpleasant, so they ignored her all the time, only giggling and sneering at her whenever she made a mistake. It looks like bullying is the same in all eras. Humans really don't advance at all, do they? No, they don't. An ugly-looking sheep. Yeah, I'll bring one I've got from a long while ago. Where the hell is it? I can't. I used to have a stuffed animal, and I had for quite a while. I don't know if we still have it. I'll have to go search for it later. But yeah, no. We'll decide if it's ugly looking. Besides, have you ever seen like the original 100 Acre Wood stuffed animals? Like the original ones that all the stories are written about? They were actual toys. They have them in a museum or stuff. They ain't all that good looking, but there they are. If only they just get wiped out. I'm sad when I'm bullied, but I think it can't be helped. It can't be helped? Why not? After all, there's a rule that says every class has to have a single bullied kid. That's a horrible rule. Totally. I'd like to find the person who made it and hit them over the head with a brick. Using the corner, of course. If I wasn't there, then there'd surely be a new bully kid chosen in my place. By staying strong, I can protect that kid. That is a very innocent way of looking at it. As she said that, she smiled faintly. Maria Onei-chan's way of thinking really is unusual. Anyway, I think it is a bit past time, so I'm gonna call it here for today. Alright. And we'll see where it goes from here. Bullying, huh? That's not quite where I imagined this story to take it. Time travel and tea parties and witches and stuffed animals and bullying. And it all makes sense. Somehow, some way, somehow, you could take the most obscure, random, unconnected things ever, smash them together, and make a story that's actually comprehensive and makes sense. It's crazy. Therapy session, everyone. Oh yeah, I'm always here to listen. If you guys ever want to gripe, feel free, absolutely, to talk to me. No holds, doors always open, all that stuff, yada yada. But yeah, nice therapy session, everybody. I have a lot of notes to go over now about all you crazy people. Apparently, from what I understand, we're all childish. Anyway, have a good one, everybody. See you later. Have a good one. Don't forget to smile.